Can I give a quick shout out real quick?
Please.
Let's go Yankees. Chase for 28.
True. Not that odd. That's like room temp take, but that's all right.
Where's Shohei gonna go?
Obviously, I'm no GM or no Major League Baseball owner, but if I were,
As always, go M's.
I can pronounce it however I want until he tells me personally when he comes and joins the pod as a friend of the pod.
what up, everybody, and welcome to the Broken Bat Podcast. My name is J-Rob. I got Casey and P here with me, just like always, and this is episode 15. We appreciate you guys stopping by and giving us a listen. If you like what you hear today in our episode, we'd appreciate if you hit that follow button. And if you want to find us on social media, Peter's going to let you know where you can find us.
As you know, if you've been listening, we are on Instagram and Twitter at the Broken Bat Pod and no spaces. Exciting development. We're now on YouTube, so you can see two of our three beautiful faces. You can figure out who the third not beautiful one is. That's up to you to decide, but we know who it is between the three of us.
Yeah, pretty easy.
But yeah, that'd be great. Go ahead and look us up.
We'll put a poll.
Broken Bat Podcast. We'll put a poll. You guys can let us know which one's the not pretty. We also have an email, the brokenbatpodcast@gmail.com. Love to have you guys interact, reach out to us, give some feedback, ask us questions, let us know what you'd like to hear. We love seeing that, so that's fantastic. You do find our podcast on Spotify, like J-Rob mentioned. We do put polls up on there, usually dealing with episode topics, just to see if you guys are feeling similar to us, different. Just, let us know. That interaction's great. And make sure to give us a follow on whatever platform you go ahead and listen to us on. Casey's yawning already, so I'm going too long. Casey, let them know what we're talking about.
Sorry, I had a long day of pickling, playing pickleball. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm glad you specified, because that could have gone a couple different ways, but sorry, continue.
So, as you guys may have noticed, J-Rob is a Cardinals fan, Pete's a Yankees fan, I'm a Mariners fan. And we're off to a great start. I mean, Pete's off to a better start than both mine and J-Rob's team, but we're going to talk about what's pissing us off. We're going to give a little bit of rant. We're going to have a little bit of a safe space, a safe, calm area for us to let our feelings out, like a therapy session almost. Then we're going to look back at the weekend series. We're going to talk about it a little bit, see what we liked, what we didn't like. Just kind of give you guys a little more in-depth look at the series. And along with that, we're going to talk about the Mexico series and kind of our thoughts about it and what that holds for Mexico. So, as I like to start off every show, I'm going to give as you guys may have known, the Mariners revealed their City Connect jerseys recently. And
wait, is this your 2-minute rant?
No, this is just my shout out. This is because I told you guys off air my rating of it, right?
Yeah.
As a true Mariner fan, as an honest Mariner fan, I didn't love them at first, but the more I look at them, the more I study them and understand the heritage. I have a new rating. Are you ready for this, Peter? Are you ready for the new rating?
I bet we're gonna get a honk answer right now. I can guarantee you that.
9.5.
Oh my gosh. That's ridiculous.
What?
This is going to be
Where
real.
would you place them in like the rankings of all the City Connect jerseys? Top 3, number 1, top 5.
Let me get back to you at the end of the pod. I'll have my answer by the end of the pod.
Okay. Well, my only comment on that is that's a terrible rating, in my opinion.
I did not like them, and they did not grow on me.
Yeah. My favorite thing is on Twitter, someone posted a picture of the City Connect jerseys, and then there's like a city that their police uniforms are like the same color, so it looks like police officers. I was like, that's great. That is beautiful.
Hey, police in the MLB, you know how it be.
Yeah, at the bottom, but that's all right. I'm right there with you. But anyways, Who wants to go first in our rant sesh? I got the timer ready.
To go first.
Peter's gonna go. Okay.
Wait. I'm going to show the people watching the YouTube. I'm going to set a timer for 2 minutes.
I already have a timer.
I'm going to see it. I'm going to show them. You ready? See this?
Okay.
All right, Peter. As soon as I press this,
no. Once he starts talking, Peter, just start talking when you're ready. Casey will start it.
All right, so let's start this off. The Yankees went 1-3 versus the Texas Rangers this weekend. A competitive, leading the division, AL West, but 1-3 is embarrassing. They scored 8 total runs for the series. Absolute joke. You average 2 runs a game. The Rangers don't have a great pitching staff. And it wasn't even DeGrom didn't dominate us, so we should have been producing way better than that. Let me go ahead and read you the lineup. The Yankees, the New York freaking Yankees, the best organization in baseball, 27 world titles, all the money in the world you could dream of. This is the freaking lineup we played on Friday, okay? DJ LeMahieu leading off. Fantastic. Love him. Great guy. Very, very good player. Anthony Rizzo hitting 2-hole. Pretty good. Pretty respectable. Gleyber Torres, been a disappointment since we brought him up, but has some hot spurts. Freaking Willie Calhoun hitting cleanup as your DH as the New York fucking Yankees. Are you kidding me? What the hell are we doing? And I know Stanton is the DH and he's injured, but you fucking know that every year he's going to get injured and spend at least 2 months on the DL. You're going to have fucking Willie Calhoun be your backup. Sorry, we're getting the explicit rating today. Oswaldo Perez, shortstop. I like Oswaldo. Show some promise. No issues there. But hitting in the 5-hole, not exactly where you want him to be. Cabrera, left field, and in the 6-hole, again, show some promise, young. It's okay to have a couple of those players on the roster. I like that. Fucking Cordero in right field, who then got sent down minor league disc green, and then Volpe pinch hit. Fucking Aaron Hicks, who should not be in the goddamn league anymore. Already bad for team chemistry. Sucked ass. Has never produced. Should have been DFA'd forever. Kyle Higashioka had one good month 2 years ago. Still your backup catcher. It's a fucking joke. You're the New York Yankees. You have to do better than that. I'm pretty impressed with that time.
That was good. That was beautiful, honestly.
A couple more efforts when I was planning on, but I got fired up.
Do you feel better, Pete? That's what I want to know.
A little bit. It got it out.
Okay.
But when I see the lineup tomorrow and it's still half those fucking guys, the anger is going to come right back. Especially Aaron Hicks.
See, yeah.
Pisses me off that Aaron Hicks is still on the roster, especially when he was bitching and whining in the beginning of the season when we were starting off good, and he was still bitching, complaining. I don't know what my role is. Your role is to shut the fuck up and take your $77 million that you're robbing with no production. That's what your goddamn role is.
No,
I bring back Ellsbury over that bitch ass, honestly. Good Lord.
Wow.
All right, sorry. That was an extra.
No,
that was. You asked a question.
That was beautiful.
Pete,
what's funny is the Yankees record is 15-14, so I'm 3 games better than Casey's team, and 5 more wins than J-Rob's team. So if I'm that fired up, it'll be interesting to see how fired up these next 2 get.
LOL. Casey,
Peter, as your Dr. Phil Hughes, does this trigger you?
Phil Hughes, son of a bitch.
Does that trigger you? This person right here.
I don't get a good look in the camera. It's kind of your 2. Torres, see, I wish we would have traded Torres last year when he started off the year. I thought it was the perfect time to trade him because I knew he was going to disappoint in the second half. He just has never been consistently able to string together a big hot stretch. So I don't hate Gleyber Torres. I think he's a fine ball player, but
what about
produce. Hey, shout out Spider Tack. Love me some Spider Tack. If we get that in October, we're looking good. If we can make it to October at this rate.
Casey,
all right, Jared. I'm interested to hear. No, I'm interested to hear you, Jared.
No, I'm going safe space for you. I'm going last.
No, it's a safe spot for you, Jared. This is a safe place.
I know it's a safe place.
You guys are both using your minutes already. We don't got time for this.
All right, I guess
an hour into the podcast.
He'll push my hand. Did someone got me on the timer? I need to see it so I know how much time I have left.
Oh my gosh! Yes,
that was helpful.
I just have to pull it up again, but I have it. Ready? Whenever you. Oh, Pete, you got it.
Okay, ready?
And so, mine's a little more of a less aggressive approach with than Peter's, because look, I've been hurt before. Honestly, it's gonna be another 20 fucking years to make the playoffs. We had one magical ride, and here I am getting all high and mighty talking to J-Rob. I'm like, holy shit, we're 2 pitches away from going to the damn ALCS, but here we are. Here we fucking are. Oh boy, oh boy. You know, I gotta give some love to my boy Teoscar. I know him and I haven't got the best foot, you know. But man, our pitching staff is ass. I mean, Castillo has started off lights out and then just kind of slipped away. And it's not like we're playing bad baseball. Like we went into extras, I think twice against the Blue Jays, and we come out with 1 win this weekend. But like, there's just games that we just need to win that we just aren't winning. Like, our offense is so damn streaky. I'm surprised we're 12-6. Honestly, I thought we were gonna be like fucking White Sox status. Like what? Let me look it up real quick. 8-21. I mean, that sounded like the Mariners season. Wouldn't surprise me. I can't say that I'm shocked because I'm used to getting hurt. I'm not blessed like J. Rob and Pete are with money and a franchise that is willing to go to the great lengths that we've tried. And honestly, like the only bright spot for me is Julio, and he might be hurt. Who knows? I'm here to get hurt again. I had a taste of what the good life was, and then the baseball gods shined down and said, Casey, you're a fucking Seattle Mariners fan. Why do you think you deserve to make the playoffs? And I said, you know what, baseball gods, you're right. I chose this. I'm just fucking over it, man. I'm so tired of fucking losing. Tired of not being in the postseason. I just want a World Series. I just want to go to one. I don't want to win it. I just want to go to one. Fuck.
Boom. Beautiful. That was good. Casey,
It's heartbreaking.
here's
Just
my...
to want to go to the World Series. Heartbreaking. So I'm just pissed. I haven't been to one since 2009, and that's feels like forever. So
Yeah, it must be nice.
Casey, I didn't appreciate you talking about the Cardinals and saying that.
Hey, it's a safe space. What said is said. It's a safe space.
Oh no, just about the Cardinals being a team that has money to spend on people.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me?
Cardinals and Yankees are in a different check.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up,
We
J-Rob.
finessed a team
No,
to give us $50
yeah,
million.
And their best franchise, the best player possibly in their whole damn franchise.
Yeah. Hey, do you want to tell me?
Shut up. We got Cano on the back end of his career, and I was happy. I was okay.
Probably Cano. I'd rather play Cano in the outfield than Aaron Hicks, if we're being honest.
It's ridiculous. So that was just my thing right there. But who's got the timer for me? Because I'm ready, honestly.
You ready to get hurt again?
Am I ready to get hurt again? I've been hurt all year.
Metaphorically and physically.
You got the timer, Casey? Or do I need to pull it back up?
No, I got it right here for Mr. J-Rob. All right, J-Rob.
Whenever I start talking, so. Oh, okay. Are you guys ready for this? Because I'm, it won't be as explicit for me. This isn't me talking. Don't worry. I'll let you know. Ready? 3, 2, 1. All right. Cardinals are off to the worst start literally in like 45 years. Literally in 1973, we talked about it last time on the cast, was the last time they went, and they started 5-19. And let me tell you, does that sound horrible? Yes, it does. I'll answer my own question. And the Cardinals are not off to much better start. They have 10 wins, almost 30 games in. So that's pretty embarrassing. And the best part about it, our hitting is actually doing somewhat decent, but also at the same time, on Saturday when the Cardinals were playing the Los Angeles Dodgers in LA, they lost 0-1. So that good offense with all these power hitters, one person couldn't connect for the ball and hit a home run to at least take us to extras. Outside of that, we also have all these different players, or at the end of the game, there was a guy on first and second, Dylan Carlson up, batting left-handed versus a left-handed pitcher when Nolan Gorman didn't even start that game, and it's versus a right-handed pitcher, but literally Nolan Gorman shreds against right-handed pitching and is just shredding on the year. He literally has 6 home runs, which leads all Cardinals. He has 22 RBIs, which leads all Cardinals. Slugging percentage is .522, which leads all Cardinals. It's pretty much Nolan Gorman and Paul Goldschmidt that is carrying this St. Louis offense. But Nolan Gorman doesn't even play every day because he's a young left-handed bat. And then you have Paul Goldschmidt. So Cardinals Twitter's blowing up. One, because we have Matthew Liberatore, who is 3-1 with a 2.14 ERA, pitched 33.2 innings, only given up 9 runs, 2 home runs, 12 walks, has 45 strikeouts, and his whip is 1.10. Left-handed pitcher would be phenomenal in the majors because we have freaking Steven Matz and Jake Woodford, who pitched today, who literally walked 3 batters to lose us the game in the 4th inning. He didn't even complete 4 innings. Your timer went away, so I can't see it. So he's garbage. There's also Luken Baker, who has hit 10 home runs, batting .318 with 22 RBIs, 24 runs, slugging .716. in the minor leagues, and we're not calling these people up. Ridiculous. That's my thing. I could continue to go on, as you could probably tell. I was getting a lot in there, but
You're getting rolling towards the end. It sounds like.
Anybody got any questions for me? Because I'm still literally like 100 degrees right now.
Who would you play Baker over? Who'd you get rid of?
Honestly, DH.
I was gonna say we talked about last week. You kind of got like the 5 outfielders for 3 spots right now. You sent Jordan Walker down, so it's kind of like I don't know. It's just kind of like you have players, they're just not players that you expect to produce and be good. They're just not doing it, which is the surprising part. It's like not even that your roster is bad. They're having a down, but it's like collective, like you mentioned. It's kind of Gorman right now producing, but everybody else is like,
and it's
not supposed to. That's
Tommy Edman hasn't done great. Brendan Donovan has been playing great. Those are our 2 middle infielders, like the 2 people that play middle infield most of the time. Put Nolan Gorman at second base, bring up Luken Baker, have him DH, and then you can switch off Paul DeJong and Tommy Edman at short. And Brendan Donovan, he literally plays every position, so you'll get him in there sometimes as well. But freaking, like, I don't know. That would be the biggest thing, getting him in. And then honestly, I would send Jake Woodford down and bring Luken Baker up. And then that's not going to solve all of our problems. But I don't even know what Steven Matz is, bro, but he's literally got to be.
Have you seen Cardinal Twitter turning on Nolan Arenado recently?
I don't know if I would say turning on him, but
all time, according to
it is true.
They said he's holding the team back, so just interesting to me. Just interesting.
No, well, here's the thing. I don't know if something's wrong with him. A lot of people are saying he's hurt or like they don't know what, but a lot of his swings, he's not even swinging all the way through the baseball. Like he literally, half his swings aren't even all the way through. So like, or a full swing. So that's weird. But then also it's, like he's still making good defensive plays. It's just literally his hitting. But I think I sent you guys or talked to you guys about that thing the other day. Or maybe I was talking to my brother about it. But after, I think the first game versus the Dodgers, he took his bats literally and was turning a corner, and there's either fans right there or media. Took his bats, just like tossed them on the ground towards those people and kept walking away. Literally like 3 bats or 4 bats, literally just kind of threw them. Not like actually threw them, like tossed them on the ground towards them or whatever, like giving them away, and then like continue to walk to the locker room. But like, I don't know, something's obviously going on. He's clearly not happy with himself, but I don't know. It's ridiculous. So, but Jordan Montgomery, I saw a stat the other day. He's the one who pitched yesterday, only gave up 1 run. His last 2 starts, phenomenal. Jack Flaherty's turning it around. Like, there's a couple people that actually look really good. Miles Michaelis struggled. He's starting to turn around. But Jake Woodford and Steven Matz, bro, straight up garbage. Like, yes.
Shout out Jordan Montgomery.
Steven Matz doesn't even have a win, so that's good.
You know who does have a win?
Who?
You know who has 20 wins?
Okay, I already know where this is going.
Jordan, your Pittsburgh Pirates are in first place, not only in the Central, in the National League. They own, I believe, the second best record in baseball.
Yep.
Your Pirates, J-Rob.
The Orioles.
Yep, somewhere around there.
I'm buying you a Pirates jersey, J-Rob.
Okay, that's fine. I'll hang it in my thing, in my man cave when I get that. But Steven Matz, real quick, 0-3 in 5 games, 6.23 ERA. In 5 games, has pitched 26 innings, 27 strikeouts, 1.73 WHIP, and has given up 5 home runs. He gave up a total of 8 last year, and he was hurt for a good majority of last year. But yeah, that's Steven Matz for you. And so in 5 games, where'd that go? He's given up 5 home runs. He gave up 8 home runs in 15 games. So he's literally on pace for, like, he gives up 1 home run a game pretty much. So it's great. Anyways, moving on from that, or we can continue. I don't care. But that's just, Cardinals are garbage right now. It's honestly, I tweeted earlier today. I don't know if either of you saw that, but I asked, is it, what'd I say? Something about like, is it okay to be embarrassed to be a Cardinals fan right now or something like that? I don't know. That was legit my tweet though, because it was.
I mean, I wouldn't put the Cardinals on the level of embarrassment. You know, you got the Athletics, obviously. Royals are awful right now.
I got
So,
the tweet right here.
No, is it wrong to say I'm embarrassed to be a fan right now? Is what I said.
No, I have it right here. It says, "I hate the Cardinals. I'm jumping ship onto a better ship. Let's go, Buccos."
That was not
that's
wasn't
not
me.
what happened.
Yeah, not my tweet.
Mm.
But I don't know. Pirates are playing phenomenal though. The Pirates, where do they where is it? Oh, they took 2-1 from the Nationals, which is
Ooh, a
expected.
sanctioned.
Nationals are terrible, but so they're 20-9, which they're the second team in all of baseball to hit 20 wins. And they're actually only three games. They're only 3 games back of the Rays. For how much we've been talking about the Rays, I mean, we haven't on our podcast, like on air, but we've talked like before, after we record, just in like texting each other, whatever. We've talked about the Rays still a lot, but
I mean, Pete's the Rays honk of the chat. He's the Juice Box Bombers guy. So,
I mean,
Pete,
that's
care to elaborate on your team?
incredible falsehood. But I mean, the Rays, they like we've talked about, they kind of still have a weak strength of schedule. Like they played the White Sox, who are terrible right now, but they just continue to destroy the teams that they're supposed to destroy. They actually, from what I read, was the first time they've had a lead in a game and lost. So they blew the lead in the ninth inning today, which was shocking. But yeah, and I didn't go back and check all their games, obviously, but I read that today was the first time the Rays took a lead in a game and lost that game, which damn near 30 games into the season is absolutely insane. Like,
yeah, it is.
That's not how baseball works. Baseball is,
Yeah,
definitely, even Mariano, greatest closer of all time, blew leads sometimes. So if this is the first time 30 games into the season that the Rays had a lead at any point in the game and lost the game, like that is insane. And they're still crushing it. And,
Yeah.
and like, 3 games up is still pretty, like, that's one out of every 10 games they're doing better than every other team in baseball. Like,
yeah. Well,
that's pretty crazy.
What's insane to me is the best team by record in baseball, Tampa Bay Rays. Second best team in baseball by record, Pittsburgh Pirates. Third best team in baseball by record, Baltimore Orioles, bro. You take the top 3 teams, at the beginning of the year, 1 month ago, you say who's the best 3 teams in majors, best 5 teams in the majors a month into the season, not one of those 3 teams would be on that list. For pretty much anyone.
The Rays might be, but
maybe
even then,
top 5.
Yeah,
like that's insane, bro. And like for them to be 23-6 and the Orioles to only be 3.5 games out, and then literally the Pirates are only 3 games back, like that's just insane to me that I don't know, that like those 3 teams.
The whole AL East is above 500 right now. Only division in baseball. Yeah, all 5 teams are above 500, and yeah, the Rays currently have a 3.5 game lead, which is insane. That the team with the 3rd best record in baseball is in your division, and you have a 3.5 game lead 30 games into the season. Like, that's crazy. And the Blue Jays are tied for the 4th best record in baseball. So you have, record-wise, 3 of the top 4 teams in baseball, and you're still doing that good. Like, the Rays are just, again, we haven't talked about them on the pod that much the last couple of weeks. I think it's just because, like, they came out, impressed the hell out of us, and then just kind of, like, have been doing the same thing. So it's, like, nothing new at this point. It's just, like...
Yeah. Well, there's almost...
They just kick ass, like...
Yeah, there's almost also just more surprising stories, like, outside of that. Like, them doing as good as they did. I mean, that was a phenomenal story. Still a phenomenal story because they're still playing super well. But like the Pirates doing as well as they are, the Orioles doing as well as they are, the AL East just being super competitive and all playing really well. I think the Rangers are playing a lot better than expected in a month into the season, have a 2-game lead over the Astros. Braves, I mean, are playing really well, but that's expected.
Marlins are doing pretty good. Marlins, I think,
Yeah.
are definitely a story worth paying attention to.
Yeah, I think there's
Especially
just
with Alcantara didn't start off the season great,
yeah,
and they're still looking that good. So once he gets right and locked back in,
yeah.
that's
Well,
another one to keep an eye on.
well, and I think if it like the Diamondbacks are doing pretty good as well. Like there's just so many other, I don't know if big's the right word, but big like storylines or whatever, just surprises throughout the MLB after the first month of the season that it's like, I don't know. There's just a lot of love that needs to go around. And there's a lot of like disappointments that have been going on. The Yankees aren't, even though they're above 500, not producing as well as they should. Cardinals doing absolutely terrible, literally third worst record in the majors a month in. I don't know if anyone would have put them like bottom 10 a month in by record, but you know
So
what?
I got a
They were
question
most
for you.
people's pick to win the division, so
Yeah.
definitely not what you expected.
Yeah.
So as it stands right now, so we have the Rangers, Rays, Twins, Braves, Pirates, and Diamondbacks tied with the Dodgers, all division winners or leaders right now. Are these teams like true contenders, or do you think they'll start fizzling out?
For which team? Give me a team in specifically.
I mean,
In
I'm
the
mostly
AL, I would say only the Rays of those are true contenders. Twins are going to win their division because it's a garbage division, but they're not good enough to win in the playoffs. Rangers, I don't think end up winning the division like we talked about before on the previous podcast. I think the Astros are going to catch them and end up winning the division, especially DeGrom left his start with it appeared to be an injury. I didn't see any news on that afterwards, but he might be out for a little bit now. So I would say of the AL division leading teams, only the Rays are true contenders. And as much as I hate to say it, I don't think the Pirates are true contenders. But the Braves, I would say, and potentially the Dodgers. So I would say
they're
only
tied
half
with
the
the
teams that are
D
division
backs
leading.
right now.
Yeah, but I don't think the D-backs are. So
I think the
I'd say-
Pirates are more contenders than the D-backs are. Hot take or no?
I agree with that.
No,
I
I
agree with
don't
that
think
statement.
I don't think it's a hot take at all. I think it's accurate.
Because I think the D-backs are a good team, but I think in that division, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but I think the NL West just hasn't lived up to its standards so far, and the D-backs have just kind of like this last a few podcasts ago we talked about the AL West, how no one really took advantage of like the Astros not starting off well. The Diamondbacks kind of took advantage of like the Dodgers and Padres not starting off well, and so they're in first place. And
the Dodgers already caught them, and the Padres are winning them back without. So
yeah. So yeah, I think I don't know, but the Pirates, I don't know. Like it's only a month in, and I might cry. So get your cameras out. But we're only a month in, and the Cardinals might already be out of the playoffs. Like obviously not mathematically, but to be 10 games back, like that's a big hill to climb. I don't think the Pirates are going to stay as hot as they are. The Reds aren't going to be great. The Cubs have kind of faded a little bit. Well, a good amount. They're 3-7 in their last 10. And then the Brewers are going to be good. But even if the Pirates are decent the rest of the way, with having a 10-game lead, that will take you 1, 2, 3 months even just to close that gap potentially. So, and that's if the Cardinals turn it around. They're also 2-8 in their last 10. So.
Yeah. So they're worst in the last 10, let alone the season. But
yeah, so
in the division at least, which is
so I think
only the White Sox are worse in all of baseball than the Cardinals in the last 10 games. That's crazy.
Yeah, well,
White Sox 1-9.
So looking at the NL though, I think the Pirates actually have a legitimate chance to make the playoffs especially with 3 wildcard teams. I mean, even if you have the Dodgers and Padres coming out of the West, say you have the Braves and Mets. I mean, the Phillies have turned it around and look better. The Marlins look decent. Say the Brewers win the division. But like essentially at that point, it's the Pirates fighting with like the Marlins and Phillies, which based on the starts they've had and where they're expected to go, I mean, I'd expect the Marlins to fall off a little bit. I expect the Pirates to fall off a good amount, but they also get Cruz back. I mean, not for a while, but like at an important part of the season, if they're in the playoff hunt, adding him could be a huge boost. Like, I think the Pirates have a decent chance of making the playoffs. I think it's just all. I mean, it's all in their hands. So I don't know.
Yeah, I hope they make it because that'd be an awesome storyline to follow and watch through the whole season. So yeah, I would love if they can keep that up just to see what they do. And like you said, bringing back Cruz and whatever other pieces they decide to go at. Because I feel like
Yeah,
if you're the Pirates and you're in it, you have to be
you're
buyers.
yeah, 100%,
You have to be.
100%. I don't know what, like how you couldn't. Yeah, I think it would just be crazy. But I don't know. To me as well, another team. Looking at the AL and kind of the playoff picture. To me, it's 100% up in the air. Like the NL, not that it's obviously clear cut, but there's teams that have played really well and you expect them to play well, and teams to bounce back, like for the NL. But then you have the AL, and it's like, okay, Rays looking really good, but Toronto's looking really good. Orioles are looking really good. You expect the Yankees to be better. Who knows who's going to win in the AL Central? Well, I mean, probably Twins or Guardians, but
It's like that's pretty obvious. I feel like. But.
well, yeah, but I don't know. I guess just the rest of the division, who knows what that's going to look like. Not that it matters regarding the playoffs, but I mean, the Tigers are in third place, which is embarrassing if you live in the city of Chicago. And then, yeah, RIP to him, man. Like, request a trade. But then
he might be on the move for the deadline at this rate.
I
He might be
think
coming.
he will. He's not going to the Mariners. Oh, okay. He's not going to the Mariners. That's
He's
what
joining
you love
the
to
pod.
say. Good. Get him on there. Get him on here. But there's also, I mean, the AL West, I feel like that's super open. Mariners not off to the best start, but they had a good year last year, have a lot of the same pieces. I think they'll make a run. Angels have to make a run.
Angels are hanging in. I'm pretty impressed. It seemed like a couple of times their season was about to go south. Like they lost a couple, weren't looking great. And then they've been hanging in. So I think they got a better mentality than they did last year. Like we talked about, last year were so hot to start the season, but once they started to lose,
it just
like
big losing streaks.
Yeah.
So I just after Thursday, I just hope they're 15-17 is all I have to say. Because they're playing the Cardinals, 3-game series starting Tuesday.
I need your boys to turn around to help us,
Yeah, I need my boys to help ourselves. That's what we need. We need them to help themselves. But the Angels, looking different or decent. Astros obviously favorites, but Rangers 17-11. I mean, they're 5-5 in their last 10, but they just took 3 or 4 from the Yankees.
Yeah.
So
Pete, thanks a lot.
Look, man, you're telling me that's why we're playing. I mean, we are injured right now, which didn't help, but still, we just are.
Yeah, is Judge missing like a significant amount of time, or what's going on?
There hasn't been any update. I mean, he's got a hip injury. They said they're expecting to release more updates on Monday, so we'll see. I wouldn't be shocked if he has a IL stint, just because I feel like every year except last year he has an
I'm
IL
gonna be
stint
so pissed off if my ass goes to Seattle and then he's not playing. You know how mad I'm gonna be?
We're gonna cut that out and just have it say, I'm gonna be pissed off if my ass goes to Seattle, so that everyone can see that you're really a Cubs fan.
I am not a Cubs fan. I am a Mariners fan.
Interesting. Yeah, but I don't know. They're supposed to release more information tomorrow, so I'm hoping it's nothing serious. But I mean, for my Yankees, we play the Guardians. Is our next series, 3-game series. But then after that, we play the Rays. So if we don't turn it around versus the Guardians coming up in this series, we might be under 500 like your guys' teams next time we talk, which is not what I'm looking for. It might be a 10-minute rant instead of a 2-minute rant.
Yeah, seriously. Get some... Just have to be going off, because it's... I don't know. Cardinals are the same way, but we'll see. I could probably all season talk about how bad the Cardinals are, because at this rate, we're... But I don't know. Let's check the winning percentage again real quick. 345. It's going to be embarrassing.
Because I know we've been talking a couple, and I wasn't worried about the Cardinals the first couple times we talked either. It's like, they're the Cardinals. They'll figure it out. But it's kind of like...
It's gotten really bad.
Still, there's 130 games left in the season.
Yeah.
But, It's kind of at some point you got to make decisions one way or the other and decide
Yeah,
what you're going to
we're
do.
almost 2/10 of the way in. Like, Cardinals have played 29 games. They're 3 games away after their Angels series. They will be, because they have off day on Monday. They'll literally be 2/10 of the way into the season.
That's crazy.
So
yeah, if you're still, 10 games under 500. That's
yeah, it's gonna be terrible.
Not what you planned on.
No, not at all. What? I don't know if you guys mind if I jump to Mexico City series.
Sure.
Because what I want to get your guys' thoughts on is, well, for those of you who don't know or don't know what I'm talking about when I say that, the San Diego Padres and the San Francisco Giants went to Mexico City. I feel like that would have been a clear pickup, but if not, to explain it more, they went to Mexico City and had a 2-game series there. And the Major League Baseball has done this the last few, well, actually for a little while now. Not necessarily every single year, and then obviously it took a year to 3 years off with like COVID, but I think they did it last year. There's 2 teams that played in London, and then the Padres Giants playing in Mexico City, and then the Cardinals and Cubs are playing in London this year as well. But Major League Baseball is just trying, I think this is their effort to expand baseball and interest in baseball like throughout the world, and so like they go to different places or whatever. I don't know if this is the first time they've been to Mexico City, but if not, it's like the first time in a while. But game 1 of this series was explosive. The final score was 11-16, and I think there was legitimately like 11 home runs hit, and then
it was 12.
yeah, I don't know, double-digit home runs, which is insane. Like, when can you ever say there's double-digit home runs hit in one game? Little backstory, not that this is all that like the only reason for that, but the elevation of Mexico City is like a good amount higher than like Coors Field in Colorado, so kind of same like effect on the baseball. The ball just flies a little bit better there, but I don't know. Did you guys watch any of those games? Or
I watched
highlights. Yeah, I didn't watch the whole game, but yeah, like you mentioned, I mean, the Yankees, as I mentioned earlier, scored 8 runs their entire 4-game series, so 12 home runs, and it's not like they were all shoulder shots in one game. Like, it's pretty insane. Like, that's disgusting amount of offense. Today, just because I love betting, I have a problem, but the over under for today's game was 20.5.
Oh my gosh.
Which is absolute. Most games over unders are like 7.5 to 9.5, just depending on like the offenses and stuff like that. But today's was 20.5. They only ended up scoring 10 runs, so it wasn't even close. But just like,
did you go under or over?
That number, it went under.
No, did you bet on that?
Oh, I didn't end up betting because I was like, I hate betting unders, which is not smart because unders win, but they're just not as exciting to bet, and then you can just get crushed. So I didn't end up making the bet because I was like,
that's high.
I wanted to just so I could say I bet on it, but yeah, I didn't end up betting it. But yeah, it's like, to see that number when it's normally 7.5 to 9.5 is like, that just goes to show what was expected. Yeah. Like you mentioned, I think it's good that they're trying to grow the game. Obviously, they're making a lot of things. The shorter rule, shorter games with the pitch clock, bigger bases, like we've talked about. We should discuss that next episode, maybe, about doing an update on the steals, because I know there's still a lot, but I don't know if it's slowed down or what's happened. But so I think that's awesome that they're trying to make a lot of exciting things. My thing is, I mean, Mexico, I think, is a fine place to go, but London doesn't make any sense to me. Japan, I know they've played in Japan before. I don't remember when. I don't remember if it was spring training.
It's more of it's like spring training. Remember the A's?
Season? Yeah.
No, it was the first 2 games of the regular season. It was the A's and Mariners.
But yeah,
I think weird.
But I think it'd be better to target places like Japan, where baseball's huge over there. Obviously, the Dominican Republic, all those kinds of things where a lot of players come from. I think would be cooler to see games there in those places. But I mean, I kind of get the logic of like, well, baseball's already huge there, so I don't know how much you would expand like baseball by doing it. But like, and I mean, I don't know a ton about London, obviously, but I just don't think of them as baseball fans. Like, it's
Yeah.
America's pastime. So I don't know how much you're growing the game by going over there. Mexico City, I mean, a lot of sports are going and playing in games in Mexico City recently, so it'd be interesting to see if they try to make a team there, because I mean, it's a huge city, but like I don't
Yeah.
know how much it will actually bring to baseball. And like you talked about, it's just even that much higher than Denver, which already had all those issues when he was coming in with the offense exploding and home runs and all that. So it'd be interesting to have a like full season worth of games there for a team. As somebody on the pod, Casey, likes to hate on my bandbox of the stadium. Shout
Your
out Wood
T-ball
Dong,
field?
the Twitter account. But
Oh, I love Wood Dong.
but Mexico City would probably be even worse than that, because it's just such
Yeah.
a high elevation. Like you mentioned, 12 home runs is insane. Like even if you average 4 or 5 every game, like that would be crazy. So
Yeah,
I don't
Mike.
know what
We're gonna
I
check Wood
like it,
Dong.
but check it. But yeah, so
Okay.
I like the idea of expanding and going other places for games and series and stuff like that, but I just don't know if the places they're picking so far or what I would pick if I was in charge.
Yeah. Well, and my question was going to be, and you kind of covered it, is like, do you see Major League Baseball putting a team in one of these cities, and if so, like when? At first it was just will they, and then it kind of became when, because what we've talked about on previous episodes of the podcast is like there's so many other options within the US that are actually really popular and like making a conscious effort to try to get a major league team in their city as soon as possible. So I feel like it would be like 10 plus years until they got another team outside of the country. The only place I could see would be like another team in Canada, just because there's already a team in Canada. Yeah. But like for a new country, I don't know, because outside of like Mexico would be, I think, the first place they'd go outside of the country. Again, not counting Canada because it already has a team there. So I think it's obviously a lot easier to put another team in like a country that baseball is already there, or Major League Baseball has a team in, to like a new country. I think Mexico, because Japan, I think would be dope. Like I think you would get, there'd be a lot of attraction there. Like attendance would be fine. I think they would probably sell out every game. If you remember watching the World Baseball Classic, like they're selling out every game in like the Tokyo Dome or whatever. London, I think, is kind of the last place. I feel like they sell out the games there, but granted, it's 2 games. Like there's only 2 games there. They're not going to have 81 games there. And I mean, same issue with Japan as it would be for London, the travel alone. Like you literally, especially with every team playing every team now, like I don't think you could put a team in either of those cities, because like
I wonder though, because I mean, I don't know a lot about Japan, but I don't know how much closer like LA is to New York than London is to like.
Yeah, I don't know that way. I don't know. I know
different time wise, So
Japan. Yeah, Japan is super far.
Japan is far. Yeah, Japan is far for sure.
Yeah,
but
there's also, and I can look that up super quick. But I was looking up Mexico City to see, and it's like a 2-hour flight, maybe 2.5 hours to like Houston or Dallas. Which there's a team in Houston, Astros. They're like around the Dallas area for the Rangers. Like, and then
I was waiting to see if you said Texans.
No, and then I didn't look up LA, but like I mean,
yeah,
so that's not. Or what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I do know in basketball when they've played games in Mexico City, they usually let the teams go like a couple days early.
Yeah.
To get acclimated to how high it is.
Yeah.
So that's why I wonder if like how you would deal with that. And baseball is a little bit different of a game than basketball, obviously. So I don't.
But I'm sure for pitchers,
like that's crazy.
Yeah, I think pitchers would have the hardest time, just because they're the ones like keep having to throw every single pitch, like they're exerting the most energy. But or like outfielders having to run if there's a lot of, I mean, especially if the ball's flying that much, you're probably running a lot. So outfielders would probably get super tired too. But the population is almost 9 million in Mexico City, so which is more than New York by just barely a little bit, and like over double Los Angeles. So there's a ton of people there. So again, not like, I mean, I don't know. I think like selling out games, things like that, I think it wouldn't be a problem.
Fan base wise, I could see them being humongous.
Yeah, I could honestly see them being the biggest fan base. One, because not just Mexico City, but anyone from Mexico, I feel like, because the team was then in Mexico at that point, like they would all become whatever that team's fans were.
Fans of another team.
Yeah.
Any new fan is becoming a fan of that team. So.
Yeah. But there's also, and I have no idea, and this is just lack of knowledge on my part, but I wonder if like security is part of the reason, or not part of the reason, but like maybe a hesitation for putting a team in like Mexico City. I don't know. That may be a very dumb question and
definite
stupid to me, but I don't know.
That much either, but I could see that.
It'd just be interesting. I think it'd be really cool and really good for the game of baseball if they did that, like put a team in Mexico City, or just honestly, not necessarily anywhere in Mexico, but like a place that made sense within Mexico, I think would be
quick question for you guys.
Yep.
And I don't think this will happen, but I'm just curious your thoughts. So, because like we talked about, because there's at least 5-6 places in the U.S. that want a team. At least Montreal in Canada wants a team. Mexico City, I'm sure, like they talked about, might be interested in a team. Would you guys be interested in MLB like making a huge? And again, I don't think it'll happen. I think they'll go to like 32 in a couple of years, and then maybe a little bit later expand. But would you be interested in like just having a huge like 10-team growth all of a sudden, where we jump from like 30 to 40, just like anybody that wants it, or like 36 or something, like just kind of letting as many teams as possible come in? Or would you rather see like slow growth?
Casey, you go.
I don't know if I would about 10. I would say like 6 would be pretty exciting because you could basically add one to each division, like each division. And not to realign, but each team gets a new face, or each division gets a new face. So I'd be okay with like 6, but I'd be like my absolute cap. I mean, I think 2 is like a tease. 4 is like, oh, we're getting somewhere. And then 6 is like perfect. But I think 10 is just way too much. I think that at that point, like, because you want to still keep it like somewhat organized. I think you get to 40 teams. It's just way too much. It's like, I don't even know if there's like 10 cities that can support a baseball team, right? Like 10 more cities. You have to expand at that point to like Mexico and Canada for sure. But I think 6 for sure is like my answer.
I think
6 cities. What 6 cities would you go real quick?
Salt Lake, Portland, San Antonio, Montreal, Charlotte, probably Nashville.
Those, and I mean, I think those are good answers. I think those are 6 cities that have expressed interest, and I think like within 5 years down the line, I think all those cities could be ready. Like if they knew they were getting teams, could be ready to have a baseball team. Like the smart way to do it, I agree, I think would be like slow growth, like doing 2 teams in 3 years, 2 teams in 5 years, like 2 teams in however long, or obviously maybe you space those out a little bit. If like in 2 years you do 2 teams and then you wait 3 years and do 2 teams again, but things are a little rough, maybe you need to wait a little longer to add more teams. But I would personally love if you added 10 teams. The only reason I say 10 teams specifically is because you could literally make 2 new divisions and have like a whole brand new division. I mean, you would have to realign, but there would be 4 5-team divisions in both the National League and American League, and I think that would be dope. And then you also go back to, I mean, this is a whole thing, because then I was thinking, for the playoffs, you'd have one to keep it the same as it is now, number of teams, 1 division from each, and then just back to 2 wild card teams. But I was like, well, if you have 5 new teams, maybe you have to add more playoff. I don't know. Like that's a thing you'd have to look at, but you could just keep it same number and do 1 from each division and then top 2 wild card teams. But I think that would be so dope. And what I would do, especially with 10 teams, I think at least half the teams would be outside the United States. I think Montreal would be dope. Just get another team in Canada. I would do Mexico City. I'm sure there's another big team in or another big city in Mexico that could support a team. But then I would even start to look at it'd be tough again lack of knowledge. So I apologize if that offends anyone. But I would love to see a team in like the Dominican Republic or something, or like just some of those central.
Puerto Rico or something like that. That
Yeah.
has all these players. Like, that would be great for them to be able to go back. I'm sure a lot of them will play there, so I think that'd be awesome too.
Yeah, like getting like just the Central America like would be phenomenal, and then you would have some longer flights, but at the same time, like if you realign, well, excuse me, sorry, if you're playing in division, which again you don't play as many division games anymore, but
not do as much, but
it's all still within the same like time zones already. Like it's not going to Europe or it's not going to Japan, and so like those super long ones. I mean, you might have long flights, but also if baseball could break it up like to where you slowly moved across the country, because like the Cardinals just had their like a road trip, and they started in Seattle and then went to I can't remember where, but like another team on the West Coast, and then they played the Dodgers. So like they kind of all their
West swing.
Yeah. So you kind of play those
that, right?
teams.
So you could,
Yeah. So I think that would be dope, because I think it'd be super exciting and that would expand baseball. I think baseball obviously would just have to do it the right way to make sure that like essentially it goes smoothly or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. I think the 10 teams would be awesome. It's more fun, more teams, more places you can go see ball games, which is fantastic. The only thing, like, biggest issue I can see with that is I just don't know if there's enough talent really to support that many more teams, because it's like you already think about it. The Royals have like Perez on their roster and nobody else good. Athletics don't have anybody, so it's kind of like that. The biggest issue I can see with that is talent, because it's like you add 10 teams, but
that's true.
You don't have 10 other teams worth of quality players, then it kind of becomes
I think
like, you're adding people not to have any success. It's kind of like
the
only drawback I see to expanding so quickly. But I think that'd be exciting if they could pull it off. I just don't know how that would be.
Yeah, I mean, I
think the travel is gonna be the biggest part. I think people don't want to like you said, like I think players already don't love getting, because it's like almost like what 2,000 miles from LA to New York. Like that's like a 5-hour plane ride. Like you're losing a day. And I get it's their job and stuff, but like I don't know. Like if you're doing a long stretch and you're going through all these different like foreign places as well, like I just don't know how well players would like that in a sense, and that you might lose talent, or I don't know. Like I just don't.
Well, I don't think the travel's that bad. Like you would if you could space it out, because again, if it's all within Central America, and then like essentially if it's all North America, like just and Central America, it's all like within the same time zone, and yeah, there might be some long flights, but you're literally only doing that once or twice a year. Like especially because you're playing all teams now. Like the Cardinals last year, I'm trying to remember what division they played. I think it was the NL East. But so that means they didn't play any of the NL Central teams, which are all like, I mean, they didn't play the White Sox, which is literally a 3-hour drive. They didn't play the Royals. Well, they play the Royals every year, but just because they're so close and it goes way back. But for most other teams, they wouldn't play the Royals, which is 3 hours, like driving wise, 3 hours to the west. Like there's a lot of teams that are close that they're now playing. And so there's a lot of places that you don't actually have to travel that far, so that you weren't normally playing every single year. So I'd like, yeah, you'd have long flights and stuff every once in a while, but literally I think max it'd be 2-3 times a year. And then the other times, like those teams are coming to your place to play. So even though you play the teams a lot, you're not traveling that far every time you have to play them. So I don't think travel would honestly be that bad. Would be sometimes, just not always.
And it'd be hard to if you added that many teams. Like I don't know if you could play it, because then it's 40. Like you played every team 4 times. There's your season right there, which I don't think is. So it'd be interesting. I don't think you could play all teams if you get to that big. Again, I don't think they're going to do that. Like I'd say at most they do 34 teams, even though I like Casey's idea. 36 sounds nice.
Yeah.
But I think at most it'll end up at 34 ever. I mean, not ever, but like for a long time at least. I think like I could see them adding 2 teams in 2 to 3 years, and then 2 more teams in like.
Well, who's the last team? Is it the Nationals?
Yeah,
like the last. Well, because they're Montreal.
Yeah,
but that's like the last time we've seen anything.
For a little bit, but then we can.
Like that's like the last major move, though. I feel like, right? Like I don't remember anything recently that's like. a team moving cities or like an expansion team. So I feel like that's like why like I'm excited for the A's to hopefully go to Vegas because it's like it's new and it like brings the like baseball a lot closer to like especially our neck of the woods. But
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Oakland deserves to lose a team either, so I'd rather Oakland gets to keep a team and the A's get a team. It's like the Oakland fan base, I don't think did anything wrong, but
Yeah.
so I don't necessarily like losing, having fans like Seattle, the losing the Sonics is still garbage to me all this time later. So I don't necessarily, but yeah, like it is exciting and fun when new things and new stuff happens. And like pretty much every league is talking about expansion right now. So I definitely see them expanding at some point, but it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm also curious to see, or like the one thing, just going back to the point, your point, Pete, of like not having enough talent. I agree. I think it would be really hard, but would also be cool. Going back to like my Cardinals rant, like Matthew Liberatore would be up at the majors. Jordan Walker would pretty much be up at the majors. Like those players would be at the majors, like regardless, because like they're just, you need that talent or whatever. Because granted, if you do a draft for all those different teams, your like players are going to get picked from every team, and so you need players to replace. So I think the exciting part would be young talent would come up sooner. The only downside with that is, like, again, they may not be ready, especially like comparing to what today's game, what a player needs to be ready to be in the majors. But there'd just be more development happening at the major league level than what is currently going on. I think you also lose one or two minor league teams. Like, I think it might just be like single A and double A, and like double A would be like the level of triple A and all that, but just because there'd be less players. Like, you're essentially taking the same amount of players
available for.
Yeah. So
it's not like you can invent new baseball players.
Yeah.
You just gotta use the talent. Yeah, and then you might see people like, I think it's Jackson Holiday, right? Is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Matt Holiday's kid. Like, might just go literally straight from high school to the majors because they don't have as much right. Yeah, so I think that could be cool too. But yeah, I know it's an interesting discussion. It'll be fun to follow along and see what happens over the next few years for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Casey, to answer your question, I could be wrong. I was trying to research this really quick. I think the last two teams to be added were like, and granted the Expos moved and stuff like that, but there's still a team there. But it was 1977. Two new teams were added. Do you know who it was?
1977.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right. That new two because the Rays are a new franchise and the Rockies are a new franchise, and I think in '93.
Yeah, I am wrong, but no. Toronto Blue Jays were in '77. Seattle Mariners were '77. Then in '93, the Rockies and Marlins were there.
When are the Rays? The Rays were in somewhere in the '90s too, weren't they?
The Rays and Marlins joined at the same time.
Did they? Well, because this says '98, the Rays and the Diamondbacks. Could be wrong. I could be wrong.
I think that sounds right.
Really? Huh. That's more recent than I thought.
Yeah, it is too. But that's still 25 years at this point since baseball's had a new team. 2005 is when the Expos moved to DC and became the Nationals. And then 2013 is when the Astros moved to the AL. But, yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting to me. I'm just super excited. We have a whole, at least one episode, if not like talking about it in multiple different episodes, just with like the expansion and everything like that. And I think Major League Baseball putting these games in different cities and stuff like that is the right idea because it helps them gauge kind of what happens. I think kind of the next step with that is maybe having 2 or 3 different series in Mexico City throughout the year. And as far as I know, I think this is all they have for Mexico City, but like they did one early part of the year, have 2 different teams go down like middle part of the year and 2 other teams go down like late part of the year. And then again, just to get more engagement, see if it's just as popular every time, whatever. But I don't know. I think it's good. I think they're doing the right thing to get on their way to expanding for sure. All right, you guys got anything else?
Yeah, Peter, remember my answer about the Mariner City Connects?
I remember you're gonna look it up.
Out with that. Give us your
Uh,
rankings of them compared to all the other ones.
They are number 3 on my list. I
Behind?
have only the Diamondbacks and the Angels.
Interesting.
That's a take.
That's a take. That's a take right there. But anyways, we're gonna end on that take. So 5 seconds in case you have anything to say.
Yes.
All right, that was 5 seconds, and so you have no
Go
longer
M's.
anything else to say.
Go M's. Go M's.
Pete, what do you got?
DFA Aaron Hicks.
Ooh, hot take. LOL. All right, well, we appreciate you guys checking us out, especially if you stuck around for all of this. This is the Broken Bat Podcast. My name is J-Rob. Again, joined by Casey and Peter. If you like what you hear, hit that follow button. Find us on the socials. Interact with us there. We'd appreciate it very much. We hope you guys have a great rest of your day.